For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Sara Pelegreen Show, currently joined by Wheeling University head softball coach Sara Pelegreen. And Sara, you have your first two doubleheaders out of the way against Seton Hill and Salem. Talk about this first week and kind of what it was like going through those games.
I think we're definitely working out the kinks right now, which is exactly what you want to do at the beginning of your season. Seton Hill was a little sketchy, not going to lie. We came out with a lot of errors at the end of the day, but it's something that we have been putting in work in practice to get better at, and I think that we did make some adjustments going into Salem. Much closer ball games. We still had our errors out there, but they were much less, and we did make progress. So I think we're on the right track. We just are still working through the kinks, which I don't want us to be clicking right now. I want to be able to be working out the kinks right now. That way we can get better later in season.
And in that Salem game, you mentioned a much cleaner game on the field, more competitive ball games. As a coach, what was that like for you to see your team respond and show that progress in that second doubleheader?
I think that's what we've been really honing in on as a team is, listen, we're not going to be perfect right now, and we do need to make that consistent progress. And so for our team to see a different side of ourselves during the Salem game that we didn't necessarily see in the Seton Hill game, it matters, and it made a difference. And our girls saw that, and now we know what we need to pick up for our next doubleheader.
And one of the real strong areas for you guys has been in the circle. You had a couple of great outings here this first week. Talk about the pitchers as a whole and kind of what you saw from them.
What's great is that we have more than a couple options on the mound, and our girls put in the work. Our pitchers, they do the work. They really work well with each other. They help each other out. They keep each other in a pretty positive mentality, and that's half the battle, going out there, having the ball in your hand every pitch. You just really need to have a good mentality when you're out there. And when we went to Salem the other day, they were dealing, and it was really cool to see because with us playing a more put together game than what we did at Seton Hill, it was cool to see like what the pitchers brought to the table without all the errors behind us. So it's something really to look forward to this season, and I think with the mix of pitchers that we have, we'll be able to hold some teams to low runs so we can get the job done.
And one of those top pitchers during the weekend, Tessa Wise, made her Wheeling debut in that final game, throws a complete game, allows just one run. What did you see from her that made her so successful?
You know, funny story about Tessa. She was walking out to the mound for game 2, and I saw her deer in the headlights, freshman going out there for the first time, and I was like, I don't know what to expect right now. This is either going to go really well, it's going to go really bad. I can't really tell from her face right now. She looks like a deer in the headlights. And she went out there and she dealt. And it was so awesome to watch. She threw a gem. And to see that from a freshman in her first outing, huge deal. And I think that it makes our other pitchers level up, right? I think that they see that and they're like, okay, heck yeah, they're like, I can do this. And so I'm very proud of Tessa. I think that she did a fabulous job. I told her that as well. And it's just a lot to look forward to, kind of just going off of what I just said. Like, if we continue doing that in the circle, we're going to be okay.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head softball coach Sara Pelegreen. And Sara, with these first two games out of the way, how as a team do you continue to grow from these two outings and get better and better as you continue through this non-conference stretch?
Right. We just learn from the mistakes that we're making, and that's what our practices have been based around. It's no secret that defense is our issue right now, and so all of our practices have revolved around some sort of defense. And so we just make sure that we aren't looking at our failures as failures, but we're failing forward and we're learning from it. And so as long as we have that mentality and we don't get too discouraged in the process, we're going to be just fine. And I know, like, from what I've seen, especially we had practice this morning, and I saw some very good, gritty softball happening and figuring it out and getting better. And we're on our way. Like, we'll figure it out. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen.
And you guys are getting ready for IUP this week over at Glenville State. Talk about this matchup kind of and what you see from it.
I will always preach to my girls, it's about us, it's not about them. And so it doesn't matter, quite frankly, what IUP brings at us. It's what we bring to the game. How are we going to be energy wise, effort wise, the controllables, they matter. And how are we going to respond to our failures during the game and get through that and be better from those? So I like to focus a lot on what we do and what we can bring to the game rather than necessarily what IUP brings.
And finally, talk about what you're looking for your girls or some keys to success this week as you guys continue to grow.
Yeah, it's just that, like, learning from the mistakes. Like, our game is such a game of failure, and it's really hard to grasp that. And especially as a student athlete, it's very hard to grasp that you are playing a game where technically failing 7 out of 10 times is good. And so it's wild to think about, and to get that mentality around that, it takes time. And that's what we're working on every day, is just our mentality around, you know what, if I make an error or if I have a bad at bat, we're going to bounce back from it. And it's about how you respond. Like, give me the ball again, give me another at bat. That's what I want to see. I want to see that killer mentality, that give me the ball again. I want it. Like, I'm not messing up twice type thing. So I think that as long as we keep preaching about our mentality around the good and the bad that's happening in our team, and how to recover and get better from it, we're going to be fine.
Thanks, Sarah. Good luck this week. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thank you for having me, Zach.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.